Right, this is what you have for what? Group 1 examination. Right, I'll also show you the syllabus, my friend. Right. Now, since I told you that I'll show you the syllabus part of it, see, I'm just showing you the syllabus part of Group 1 examination, TNPSC Group 1 examination, right? I'm showing you the detailed syllabus, assume. I'm talking about the detailed syllabus. Right. See here, the same area, what exactly we have seen it, right? What you have is general science, current events, geography of India, history, Indian polity, and so on, right? And since I was just talking about this Group 1 examination, you would have heard about this Group 1 examination. These are the posts where you have the state service, right, personnel being recruited for the state service as such. Like UPSC, what you have in the federal structure, right? It means the central structure. State government has their own agency called as what? Regional Public Service Commission, right? Deputy Collector. And you cannot enter a post which is higher than the Deputy Collector in Revenue Department. Am I right? Right, Deputy Collector, Deputy Superintendent of Police, DSP, Assistant Commissioner, so on, correct? Again, if you ask me what is the syllabus, whatever we have seen for general studies, that is the syllabus, right? Now, I do not know how many of you are aware of this post, my friend. There is one post, right? According to me, this is a very important, right, post. I would say this is a kind of a unique post what I have. You would have heard about this post. This post is called as a District Educational Officer. You know one good thing about this post? Everybody is not eligible for this post. Only that candidate who has qualified, who have this BEd, Bachelor of Education degree, is qualified to write this examination, right? District Educational Officer. That is not the unique feature. What is the unique feature? See, somewhere I said the highest direct recruitment what Public Service Commission conducts, Regional Public Service Commission, is a Deputy Collector, right? Deputy Collector. If you ask me that what pay scale Deputy Collector comes in, Deputy Collector, DSP, Assistant Commissioner, right? They almost comes under this level 22 pay scale. According to 7th Pay Commission, right? They come under this 22nd pay scale or 22 pay scale, right? If you ask me, right, what pay scale this District Educational Officers coming in, right? Okay, District Educational Officer coming in, District Educational Officer comes in what? The scale 23, my friend, level 23. Somewhere, let me tell you a point that this is one unique post, right? No other Public Services Commission has this post. When I talk about District Educational Officer, where only the candidates of BEd is eligible for, you are almost appearing for a post which is superior than Deputy Collector, which is superior than DSP. Like nobody knows, most of them, they do not know about this feature. Only thing is that only after you getting into the service, getting promoted to the next level, you come under this level 23 of the pay scale. But District Educational Officer is a direct recruitment. See, experience also comes in. But 14 people or 14 members or almost, say for example, every year this number changes. These are ad hoc appointments, right? They are almost selected from what? Open market. So somewhere, let me tell you, right, BEd, almost having studied BEd, you have one of the greatest advantage where you can venture a service even which is higher than what? Deputy Collector and so on, right? You have a chance. And again, if you ask me what is the syllabus, the same syllabus what we have it for UPSC, right? Or I would say, let me not use this word same, the similar syllabus what we have for what? Civil service. The similar syllabus what we have for what? Right, Group 1 examination of Tamil Nadu, right? So friends, somewhere so far, what exactly I was doing, I was showing you the syllabus demand of different examination that is being conducted across the country. Somewhere we have classified the examination majorly into two types. Subject aptitude, I am not taking it. Otherwise, examinations are either based on general knowledge, right, or it is based on general aptitude. Sometimes these exams are almost based on the combination of both. Generally, we do not have any other type of examination. So somewhere I understand, if you start preparing for this general aptitude, supplemented by general awareness, any competitive examination, you generally write. Equip yourself. And when it comes to strategy, my friends, so far we were talking about knowing the syllabus and so on. When it comes to our strategy, okay, fine. I know that, okay, fine, it means if at all, if I'm just preparing for this areas, I'll be eligible for this examination. Now, competitive examination, who normally wins, if you ask me, it is not the hard worker, he is the smart worker. Right? Normally, we have a difference, hard worker and smart worker. See, work is a work. But somewhere, if you calculate the return on investment and accordingly, if you work, what is this? Invest less time, the returns should be very high. So somewhere I would put it this way. See, this is not greediness. This is rationalization. If you start rationalizing your preparation, right, this is what I call them as what? Smart work, my friend. Competitive examination is for the people who work smart. How exactly a person works smart, if you ask me? A person who knows to devise a strategy, right? He is the one who can qualify this examination. And coming to the most important area, let me say what exactly is the strategy that is needed for cracking any competitive examination, my friend. Let me tell you, these 6 things what I have just given you is the consolidation of my experience, right? Somewhere, every year we see more than 4,000 candidates, right? We know that what is the mistake, the unsuccessful candidates commit, and if at all, if they are rectifying it, eventually they become successful. And we also know that what exactly the nuances, right, and the SOPs, the standard operating procedure, what the successful candidate almost follows. The consolidation of the same, I have 6 golden laws for any competitive examination, my friend. This is what I call them as what? Strategy. If you ask me, first and foremost, right, what is very, very important, very small but still essential, know the scheme of the examination, right? If notification comes in, read the notification, discuss, sit in the forum, right? If you have any gray areas, right, almost clear the gray areas, right? Know the scheme of the examination. When I say scheme of the examination, how many stages are there? What is the format? What are the different subjects I have, right? Whether I have a negative marking or not. See, I have seen people going into the hall without knowing whether this examination has a negative marking or not. Correct? Strategy says, that's again a strategy. Strategy itself is a very big avenue. Correct? When I talk about negative marking, right? If you do not have a negative marking, please do not leave any questions in the examination. Attend. Law of probability will fetch you 2 or 3 marks, and 3 marks will be decisive, right? That can change your destiny also, right? Know whether negative marking is there or not. Even if negative marking is there, how to handle the questions. Even we say, even if you do not know the question, even if negative marking is there, right, somewhere we say strategy is there, yes, you can go for it. You can always apply the law of probability, correct? I strongly believe in law of probability, correct? This will work in examination. Number 2, my friend, according to me, the most important exercise for cracking any competitive examination is knowing the syllabus. Otherwise, if this syllabus is very vast, I call it as what? Decoding of the syllabus. You should decode the syllabus. What is decoding? Say, for example, there are few topics where I understand it means I am not very certain that what are the subtopics I can have for this particular topic, right? See, assume that I have a gray areas, right? You should not have any gray area in your syllabus. Competitive examination, even for your college examination, I'm not talking about, no gray area should be there. Decoding of the syllabus. I would say that it means you sit, read the syllabus, understand the syllabus, right? Talk about the possibilities of the questions that can be asked in the syllabus, areas that can be discussed out of the syllabus. Discuss about it. Knowing the syllabus is very, very important, my friends. Decoding. I use this word called as decoding. I'll also do a very small exercise where exactly we can decode a syllabus, correct? After knowing the syllabus, shortlist the study material, right? Material should be there. Right? For example, see, people prepare in Google. I don't deny it, because today you are living in an era where you call them as what? Mada, Pita, Google and Devam, correct? Right. I agree that everything means Google answers, correct? Google is better than your life partner sometimes, right? I understand. But somewhere I understand, if at all, if you're almost having the web source, consolidation, revision becomes highly challenging, right, during the examination or before the examination, right? So shortlist the study material. Study material should be in such a way that size of the material should be small enough, but the percentage of coverage should be large enough, correct? Identify it. The very first 3 steps, if you're doing, my friends, 50% of your preparation is over. See, you have not started studying. Even without studying, if you can understand the syllabus, if you can shortlist the study material, 50% of the syllabus is over, or preparation is over. Let me tell you why. Once you know the syllabus, what to read, what not to read, both you will do. What to read is very important. Equally is important what not to read. Because most of the time, right, we'll be investing time in those things which is not needed for this examination, right? Let us not do it. Understand the syllabus, my friend. Understanding the syllabus, I have said in one word, but that's a very intense exercise what you have to do, correct? Once you do this basics right, then devise a study plan and revision plan. Revision becomes very, very important. Without revision, competitive examination do not sustain. Study plan. Study plan should be consistent. Don't study for long hours, but consistency is the key. Perseverance is the solution, correct? It means you should have a consistency. 7 days, don't read all 7 days. By 6 days you read. I'm talking about the toughest examination, right? I'm talking about civil service examination. 6 days you read. 6 hours a day you read. 1 day you take a complete break. For 1 year, that is more than enough for cracking civil service examination, provided you know the basics correct, right? You devise a study, right? Accordingly, right? Every examination may not need 6 hours of study. For example, when I talk about quantitative aptitude and others, means aptitude related examination, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, 3 months in a year, over preparation. This is how I can quantify and rationalize my preparation. And comes equally important exercise, my friend, right? I call this method as a reverse engineering process, right? Analysis of previous year's question. If you want to understand the pattern of the examination, analyzing the previous year's questions becomes very, very important. Analyze it. It's more like a feedback mechanism. Whether you are almost traveling in a right direction or not, that feedback is given by this analysis of previous year's question. This will give you a chance for understanding the pattern of examination and the mindset what the examiner has. Very important, right? That's the reason I said that, see, for example, when I talk about the complete strategy, studying is a part of the strategy. Studying alone, you cannot qualify this examination, correct? And finally, what makes your precision more perfect, right? What can almost make you to aim at the bull's eye, the target makes the perfect 10 out of 10. Practice more model question, more number of MCQs. See, for example, assume the easiest way, I'm telling you, this 6, forget about everything what we have discussed for the last 1 hour and 15 minutes, right? This 6 strategy, if you're implementing it, right, I bet that most of you will qualify the examination, my friend, right? Precision, make your precision perfect. The practice makes both men and women perfect, my friend, right? Practice more number of model questions. Any examination you are going to write, assume, right? Collect the previous year's questions, sit and solve it, right? Sit and solve it. 10 previous year's question minimum, right? You will understand the pattern, correct? More model questions you collected, say 20 more questions, model questions you collected, even without almost compromising slightly on studying the areas, you can still qualify the examination. This method, you call them as what? Reverse engineering, my friend. All 6 areas what I have said, it is immensely important, right? Let me also put a point again and again, where studying or revising is just a part of your preparation. That alone is not preparation. Understand the scheme, know the syllabus, right? Shortlist the study material, right? Study it, revise it, right? See the previous year's question paper, practice more model questions. Over. This is the golden mantra for any competitive examination you take in this country. So before just concluding, my friends, I would just want to tell you that syllabus, each and every word you should know. There should not be any word which you will be leaving in a gray area. That's the reason I have used this specific word called as decoding. Right, this is my parlance. Normally I use it, call it as what? Decoding. Right, syllabus has to be decoded. UPSC, we do it. Right, civil service, we do it. When it comes for mains examination, we do it. Because mains examination, each and every mark is important. Right, see, that's the reason normally I say, right, if you are leaving one question in preliminary exam, civil service mains examination, one question you are leaving in it, you are leaving a good service. If you're leaving two questions in the examination, you're leaving the service itself. There is no choice. That's the reason I said each and every word in the syllabus has to be understood in detail. In that case, my dear friend, let me tell you what is this decoding means. Right, knowing the gray area. See, I have one topic I've just picked for just almost explaining this decoding method. See, there is one topic in geography. It says important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclones. So normally what happens, student will almost prepare for earthquake. He will prepare for, he or she will be preparing for tsunami. Tsunami is not a separate event, right? The extension of earthquake study, I have tsunami. Tsunami, you call them as what? Seismic sea wave, correct? You have volcanic activity, right? I have cyclones, right? People are very happy. Okay, fine. I have prepared for all the topics which is given by UPSC, right? You say so. But my dear friend, take a very close look. UPSC is not so easy. That's the reason sometimes what happens, right? Sometimes things are not so simple as it appears, right? I have one of the most trickiest word here, my friend, etc. Correct? If examiner is asking you from this word called as etc., you cannot say that this is out of syllabus. UPSC will say, no, this is not out of syllabus. I have something called as etc. You have failed to notice this word called as etc. Correct? Now comes the question, can I prepare for this word etc.? Right. If you ask me, I say yes. How? My dear friends, not only I'm just giving you one example, plenty of examination has this kind of words, etc. Right? And more they say. Correct? Now, can you identify the similarity that exists between all this geographic phenomena or process, earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclones? Can I say? If that is the case, can I say etc. will have the same contextual meaning like what others are having? Right. If I am an informed individual, I can understand. You would have identified by this time, correct? What is it? Earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclones. What are they, my friend? What are they? They are nothing but what? Natural disaster. So I have to identify some of the other natural disaster. Instead of me identifying personally out of my intuition and my limited knowledge, let me go for a formal way of analyzing it. There is one agency called as NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, right? They have almost identified some of the types of natural disaster. If I start transferring it, right? What is not given in my syllabus? Flood, not given in my syllabus, let me transfer it. Urban flood, see, you may ask, what is the difference between flood and urban flood? See, Mumbai flood. Just 10 days before we had a Mumbai flood. Right, after 2005, this was one of the most devastating flood what we have in Mumbai. One statistic says, right, if same precipitation happens, rainfall, same precipitation happens in rural area versus urban area, this urban area has almost 6 times more vulnerable, 6 times more prone to get floods. Reasons are plenty. Right, I do not have the surface to percolation. I have pakka roads, I have cemented pavements, right? I have trespassing of waterways, so many reasons are there. But flooding is a normal phenomena in urban areas. Chennai flood, you would have not forgotten about Chennai flood. Correct, 2015, 2016, 17, we missed a hat trick, right? But somewhere, I understand, cities are known for floods, right? Landslide, heat wave, etc. Even if you want to include drought, you can include. So, somewhere, this is what I can understand. Okay, these are the topics that can come under, etc. But very interestingly, 3 continuous years, examiner has asked a question only from this word called as etc. My friend, see, one question they have asked. Himalayas are highly prone to landslide. Discuss the cause and suitable measures to mitigate. Forget about the question. But what is the question talks about? Landslide, natural disaster, etc. Correct? And talk about the second question. Major cities in India is becoming more vulnerable to flood condition. What is the central question? Cities, flood, urban flood. Am I right? The third question, which was asked last year, in what way floods be converted into a sustainable source of irrigation and all-weather inland navigation? What is the central theme? Flood. Will you accept the fact all 3 successive years, What you had is the question coming from what? Etc. That is the reason I said, if you leave no gray areas in your syllabus, half of your preparation is over. Correct? Only thing is that you have to sit, you have to prepare, you have to execute. See, knowing and not preparing is very serious. Sometimes they say thought without action is folly, and action without thought is an abortion. So know the examination, understand the examination. See, understanding takes little time because one day you cannot understand. But time, take more time, right? Discuss, right? Online platforms are so plenty. Actually speaking, coaching centers are not needed. If you know that how to prepare, you need a mentor. Identify a mentor. So many mentors are there throughout the world, right, who are almost willing to coach free of cost, right? Identify them. Preparing for any competitive examination becomes very easy and very certain, my friends. So know the examination, know the syllabus, shortlist the material, sit and study, prepare for the examination, right? Service is already there in your hand. You have to fetch your service. And you will be responsible. For example, assume that if at all, if you're succeeding in life, many will be responsible for your success. If you're failing in life, only you will be responsible for your failure. This is right, the bitter truth of life is all about. My dear friends, I wish you all the best for any competitive examination preparation, not only competitive examination, even when I talk about your general college examination, any examination, let me say qualifying examination, right? Some of the strategy you follow, things should be fine enough. It should fall in your hand. I wish you all the best once again. And I take this opportunity to thank each and every individual of this institute. Again, my heartiest thanks in regards to them for organizing such a beautiful event where we had an opportunity to almost deliver some of the ideas what I have. But maybe we'll just extend with the discussion, right, session if possible, my friends. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation to crack the competitive examinations like IAS, IPS, TNPSC, and UPSC. I hope all the participants have got so much of confidence and clarity to clear the examinations with higher attitude and aptitude. You will accept and follow your concept. Smart working, sir. Okay. Now it's time for interaction. Participants, please unmute yourself and you can interact with the speaker now.
Sir, very good afternoon, sir. Sir, this is Rakesh here from Chennai, sir.
Yes, Rakesh.
Sir,
Please.
thank you so much for this information, sir. It was awesome, sir. Seriously, it's an eye-opening seminar for us, sir. We are seriously, sir. You are so energetic and motivating us to a lot, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
I'm not motivated. I'm just telling you the reality.
Yes, the words come from your mouth. It's all so it's like motivating us, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, but I have one doubt, sir. A big doubt, sir. Actually, you said about the district education officer (DO) about a post now, sir. Yes. Sir, I'm preparing for it, sir. And unfortunately, after all, you said I started to read the notification twice, sir, and found that I am not eligible for that exam, sir. In the mid of the after started my preparation. In the mid, I found that I'm not eligible. In that notification TNPSC, they stated that in +1, that is higher secondary level, have to take an language, that is Tamil as the language, sir. But instead of that, I've chosen French as my language. Is it the true, sir? Am I eligible for that?
You are not eligible. Yes, see, if you can see the screen, I'll show you. See.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They have given you eligibility, right?
Yes, sir.
See. Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, when I talk about educational qualification, yes, that is clause B.
Yes, sir.
Right? Almost read this third statement, right? And integrated by this word called as and must have studied Tamil under part 1 or part 2 of the intermediate or pre-university. See, in Tamil Nadu, we call them as what? +1, +2, higher secondary. But when I talk about Andhra Pradesh, you call them as what? Intermediate. You call them as what? Inter. States like Karnataka, you call them as what? Pre-university. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so
Yes, sir.
just to tell you that you should have studied Tamil. Okay, see, that's the reason normally I say that first and foremost, before preparing for any examination, knowing the scheme of examination or reading the notification is immensely important, very, very important. But okay, see, Rakesh, I'll tell you one thing, your preparation will never be wasted. May not be for this examination, but some examination you will definitely qualify.
Yes, sir. Knowing, unknowingly, when I've joined BEd also, sir, my one year have gone, and mid of it, I come to know that. But in my UG, I have taken Tamil as my language. In part A and part B, I have taken as language, sir.
If my understanding is correct, see, there is always you have something to compensate it. See whether you can do some certification course where that will be regarded as that. Say, for example, the pre-U or pre-university or intermediate what you have studied in Tamil. Maybe just search for it.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So any other questions from the participants? Dr. Mrs. Kapila, madam, you have a word to share, please.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. Sir, first of all, I would like to thank our respected principal for permitting us to conduct this program. It has been a very, very useful insight, sir. Mr. Ilanjarian has, given a very in-depth presentation, giving us a ground reality, sir. I was thinking I should get back my 20 years. I should go back 20 years. If I had known all these things before, maybe I would have found a different occasion, sir. Honestly speaking, when I was doing my graduation, I never knew about these examinations, sir. So I'm very, very happy that we have given this exposure to the youngsters of today. And
sorry for interpreting, ma'am.
Yes.
Interpretation. Generally, when I talk about TNPSC, if you take all the combinations, people till the age of 52 can write the examination. That's the reason sometimes sarcastically we say the recruitment age of examination is more than the retirement age.
Oh, okay. Truly, sir, my friend qualified for TRB when she was 56, sir.
Oh my goodness.
She joined along with me, TRB 96, sir. But, even these things, we never knew this, sir. Because those days, we were not given this kind of exposure. And I think in some ways, Corona has opened up new avenues of exposure. And I should thank you, sir, because you have taken such pain to, elaborate on all the levels, from staff selection up to the higher level. And I'm very, very happy, sir. Thank you so much. And I know so much about you through your mother. Congratulations for all your success. And I was thinking, my God, English language has so much power, in all these examinations. And I'm really happy, sir. And I think we should plan in our college also to give exposure to all these levels in English so that our students are well equipped, sir. Thank you very much, sir, and wish you good luck for your future. Thank you so much. Very proud of you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu Shankar, sir, for organizing such a useful webinar, and Dr. Muthupandi Selvi and the organizing committee. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So any other participants, any more interaction with the speaker, please?
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam.
Hello, sir. I'm Darshini. This session was really wonderful. Sir, I actually, when it comes to syllabus part of things, whatever you mentioned, it was very clear for me. And when it comes to current events, I feel a bit difficult. As a beginner, it is very difficult for me to read newspaper. Can you give some tips and tricks for that, sir, please?
Hard work is the tips I can give you. See, but tell me, let me be, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I have just changed the mic. Okay. See, let me tell you the reality. See, newspaper reading should be a habit, right? It is not like that we have to read newspaper while taking a cup of tea. No. Generally I see, for example, you have many supplements for newspaper. If you do not find a time for reading a newspaper, generally what you can do, there are many ebooks which comes as a monthly magazine, correct? I also suggest you some of the very simple consolidation of the current affairs, which may be needed for the basic examination, right? So every month you'll be having somewhere around 40 to 50 pages of compilation, correct? That should be sufficient. But let me tell you,
Okay.
Compilation, reading the compilation will give you only the knowledge. But reading the newspaper will give you a personality that will enhance your personality. Right. So I wish for examination, okay, you read source. Right. You can go for a compilation. I'll also suggest you some of the very good compilation what it comes. But there is no substitute for newspaper reading. Correct. This is one.
Yes.
And number two, if you ask me that is it necessary to read each and every news in the newspaper? No, not at all. Not at all. Right? If you can understand the syllabus, whatever is mentioned in my syllabus, only that part you select from the newspaper, that should be more than enough. Right? Right.
Okay,
So
okay.
my
Thank you,
advice
sir.
for you right now, you may go for consolidation, monthly consolidation. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Hello. Any more questions? Yeah.
Hello.
Please, ma'am, you are.
Hello.
Yeah, you are audible. You can ask, please.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Miss Madhu Verma, you can
Hanji,
you
Hanji,
can
Hanji.
interact.
हाँ,
Yeah, please.
हाँ. Sir, today's session very good. Sir, I wanna ask best books for UGC NET for first paper. Hello. Hello. Sir, I am audible. Hello. Hanji, Hanji. Hello. Sir, I am audible.
Sir, your microphone has been unmuted, sir. Muted, sir. Kindly unmute, sir.
Yeah, you are audible,
Okay,
madam.
yeah.
Madhu, madam, you are audible. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Madhu
Sorry.
Verma, is it audible? Madhu
Yes,
Verma?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. See, sincerely speaking, I am not into that UGC field as such, but still, I may not be the right person, but maybe the other staffs may help you in almost identifying the book. But generally, see, there are guidebooks. If my understanding is right, there comes one book published by Lucent. But anyway, just don't take it as a final one, because slightly my field of almost coaching is more confined to the civil service aspirants. So slightly I am not so specialized in UGC. Okay. So maybe by end of the session, I'll ask somebody to almost send you the best material for UGC. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Madhu, welcome.
So, any other questions from participants? So, shall we close the session, sir, with your kind permission?
Please, sir.
Sir. Rama, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So all the good things will come to an end on time. So let me tell the vote of thanks. It's my privilege and great honor to propose the vote of thanks on this auspicious occasion. First of all, I thank the Almighty to carry over smoothly this national webinar on competitive examination strategy. I thank our respected principal, Dr. Krishnan sir, as well as the program director, who is the pillar of great strength and support for us to do this kind of program. I thank wholeheartedly for inspiring us to work with zeal and dedication. Thank you, sir. It's a great privilege to register my deep appreciation for our resource person, Shri K.M. Ilanjayan sir, former Assistant Commandant, CRPF, Joint Director, Officers Academy, IAS Academy, for delivering the concept competitive examination strategy in a splendid way with very nice presentation. Yes, sir, you gave so much of confidence how to develop our general aptitude and general knowledge. And you gave all details elaborately to know about various opportunities that are available for the youngsters. The information and the tips to crack the examination that you gave are very beneficial to all the competitors, sir. Consistency in reading and perseverance in actions helps to reach our goal. That's a great saying that I have been.
Hello, Rama, madam? So I think Madam had lost the connection. So on behalf of everyone, I extend my hearty thanks to the speaker. Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's my duty, sir.
Yeah, for your kind consent and for your sparing such a long time explaining each and everything in detail. Thank you so much, sir. On behalf of the principal, staff members, I extend my hearty thanks to you again. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, dear participants, we'll be here for another 5 minutes. So if you want to post any queries with regard to your certificates and other processes, you can please leave it in the chat box. So you can please leave, sir, if you want.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Please, sir. Thank you.